And they can even do the 12th. The insurance. Yeah, how, if you guys did the 12th, would you be able to give me a half hour?
Really?
So, yeah, I'm just gonna, and we'll talk about, I think, with this insurance, that's what I will see. I don't know, can you, if you had to, Sylvia, would you be able to get on like a phone call or no? At least to listen?
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
definitely,
yeah, maybe.
definitely.
maybe
I'll just
like,
take a look at the schedule. I'll just see, it all depends what my schedule at work
Yeah.
is too.
If we
I
vote,
can
you
take a
you
later
can't
tonight.
vote virtually, but you can listen. Yeah, right, you can't vote, but you can listen. And I'll just say, I know how Sylvia was gonna vote, but she can't legally right now. Yeah. In COVID, they allowed it, but then they stopped it.
Exactly.
They stopped that, but they didn't stop the payments when you didn't want to come to work anymore. But now they did, right?
Yes, yeah, no.
Yeah, no more COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Justin, we're live? All right, look, he's already figured it out. All right, welcome everybody to the August, last summer meeting, right? Before we get started, get everybody stand for the pledge, please. Come on, Abe, how do we do that?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, we got, our board fully elected here, also. Deputy Supervisor Steve Moreau, Councilwoman Sylvia Santiago, Councilwoman Eve Lincoln, Councilman Charlie Rowe, Highway Superintendent Anthony Feo, Receiver, or our Town Clerk, I'm sorry, Receiver Tax not here, our Town Clerk, Patty Carino. We have our Police Chief, Dan Valeri, our Town Attorney, Dave Zagon. And I got two IT guys, the Chief IT guy, John McDonald, and he's with Justin here. Going over some stuff for us. So the first thing, we got on the agenda, actually worked out pretty good because John happens to be here, is we're gonna talk about is the townwide phone system. So I remember actually last month, Steve, at the end there, you'd asked about the phone and we're at with it. So I had asked John to put together an RFP for a request for a proposal for a phone system. Dealing with Dave and stuff too. I know it's a lot of work. John did put together an RFP for a voice, a cloud-based voice over IP upgrade, if you will. Dave doing some research, found out that there is a state contracting on it, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he says there's 100 or hundreds of phone companies on there. So John did, instead of us maybe going out to an RFP, John sent a snippet of the RFP to some of these particular phone providers, to kind of get some prices to see. He did send them to a lot of the, I guess, the bigger or well-known phone companies. So I don't know exactly how competitive they're gonna be, but I will tell you, the current phone system we have now, we've, I'm gonna say last year with a bit of a breakdown on it, we spent, and this is equipment and some phones and some other stuff. We spent, probably $65,000 on stuff like this. I know we did have a phone company in here, a voice over IP company that had given us a price of like $10,000 for the year to do the cloud-based thing, which is up my alley, and that's a $50,000 savings. However, they actually are not on the state contract, so that was all fine and great, but that doesn't count. So we technically can't, the only way we would even be able to capture them, I believe, is just to do an RFP and to make it legal, I believe, at that point. But there are some other ones. John did get two estimates back. VoIP LLC. Actually, I'm sorry. This is the one that was the first one we got back, which was not the state one. The state contract one. This is the one that's $845 a month. This is the one that we had from the company with those ones up there, but they're not on state contract. And John did get one back. That was basically, so monthly reoccurring services. And John, you can jump in there if you think I'm wrong. I know I kind of sidetracked on this. Is a $3,294, and a one-time fee is $9,867 with a total amount $13,161 to start off with. So you're looking at probably $30-ish thousand a year to do the cloud-based phone system. If I'm not mistaken, I know we had reached out to our current vendor, Cisco, and John had spoken to them in reference to changing this over to just cloud, just right off the get-go. And I think we're looking at a savings of at least $30,000 per year. So, which is an option too. But I like to see, I know it's a little more work for us downstairs for IT, and Dave put some time into it. I appreciate it. I like to see us, kind of bang around some of these phone companies. I know this one that we did, the first one I got for $10,000, we did call around. There's a couple county, Orange County agencies that have them. They, they didn't complain. I think to John's point, he says basically if we go to cloud, it's on the back end, the front end user is really not going to see much of a difference. But regardless, we're moving forward with that. I know I'd like to, if at all possible. I know again it depends. Then you didn't get any more back, right? Other than that one.
I should get Cisco back tomorrow and then Mitel waiting for a phone call and Zoom.
Right.
Big
So
ones.
I guess if we had to, we can reach out to a couple, maybe smaller, but
Yeah, I have
More
a
well done.
wholesaler that has 70 VoIP carriers in there. But they're trying to figure out which ones are on contract or not, Omnia, Sourcewell, or New York State
Right.
office.
I definitely think we can save us money here on some of this and, upgrade our phones and certainly, save us $20,000-$30,000 a year on the phone system. So I know, I said to John, I showed my concern of us keep hitting the renew buttons on several things. I said, let's take some of these people to task and we're doing that. So we're in the middle. So hopefully, I know, and I think if I'm not mistaken, John, if we were to do this, it's not, if we don't turn it on Monday and if we're all good Tuesday, it's a few months work to get this done, right?
Cisco would be the quickest because it's just an uplift from on-premise into their cloud, which is basically exactly the same what we got. The other ones, it's gonna be some back-end planning and stuff like that. And that was a big thing with the RFP, was to capture our entire system, document everything. I mean, people didn't realize we had 17,000 VoIP calls a month here, and we have 1,300 fax transmission from here. So we sent all that stuff to everybody, the carrier. So some of them are updating figures that we had talked to them before about.
Would we be able to, would it be possible, like by September meeting for us to pull the trigger on one of these or? Phone
We
company?
will come closer, but our intention was, because of budget would be.
Well, so I know I want to do it,
2026.
I know we want to do it January for 2026, but I think even by the looks of this, if you take this one phone company,
Bring Central.
just even if we did the VoIP IO, the first one that we got us a proposal, just say they were a contender. Their yearly rate plus new equipment is still far less than what we're paying yearly now with Cisco.
Correct.
So it wouldn't hurt us budgetary wise. I don't have to worry about the 2026 budget.
Yeah.
I would only have to worry about if we were going more. Obviously, we're not, I'm looking to lessen this in the budget hit. So,
Okay.
yeah, and like I said, I don't care if we go to a smaller company, if we got to look at, I understand your concern was that what happens if they go under?
That in the police department.
Yeah, and the
If
police department.
stops functioning, I mean, that's gonna generate the biggest noise
Yeah,
out of everything. So I just want to be careful.
yeah, no, I get it. I'm sure there's some of these other companies that have smaller ones that work for them. I don't, I go on the what if I get hit by a bus, somebody else will jump in and do it. So I'm not worried about it. I think we could figure it out. But if we could save ourselves $30,000-$40,000 a year, I think we
Absolutely.
can pull that trigger. So, all right, cool. So we're working on it. So hopefully we'll have something maybe for next month. I hope.
Yeah.
This next one, the local law amendment. So I put this on here in hopes that we were gonna have an amendment done for Wednesday, but it got a little more complicated on the back end. Dave has been doing a lot of research. We've had some meetings with planning, zoning, the building department. We talked about these amendments. So this really we're focusing right now on this amendment. We're focusing on, and I think you folks got saw correspondence from Dave in reference to the planning and zoning or planning applications for planning board, how they keep renewing extensions for the last 40 years on subdivisions and stuff like that. So we're looking to put a timetable on that. On some of these things here are, some of the requirements we have, how many years we can do it. I think we came to a conclusion or agreement that we're going to do a max of 5 years. You're allowed to do, you get your approval the first year, and then you're allowed 2 or technically 4 1-year approvals. That's a maximum of 5 years. Right now, there is no cap. It's just, I got subdivisions that have been approved for the last 30, 40 years, and we're expecting to think that's good. So we, talking with during our infrastructure meeting, especially with the Jerry Artino weighed into, there is some time to give some people to get things moving, who gets it approvals, and it may sell it and stuff like that. Some of it I'm not too concerned with, but some of it I got it. Fair enough. These folks do building, so let's let them do that. So With that, there was a couple, legal questions. I know we were trying to use a couple other towns as, examples. I know Dave's been back and forth with Dominic Credesco, who's the planning board attorney, to kind of make sure we got everything right. And then with that, we decided to add into this, we're gonna do our solar code update at the same time. And I think right now there's only two, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, I think there's only two really parts of that code we're looking to edit, if you will. The fencing around the solar farms now require like a chain link fence with slatted. They're looking to do more animal friendly fences now where they're kind of wood post with a little bigger openings so the squirrels and the rabbits can get through and all that stuff. I did show my concern, and the planning board, will put that requirement on there that in the event that we do go to those, that anything, especially leaf off, anything that's facing these solar farms, any homes or something that they have to put up screening inside the fencing, like arborvitae, there's something that blocks the solar farm. There is one, to use an example, there's a solar farm on Riley Road that has fencing around it. It has no slats in it, and I don't even know if anybody ever really sees it that much except with leaf off because it's got a natural wood barrier. So if we can get them to do some wood barrier around that, that would help us. So we're looking to update the fencing part of that code and the battery storage portion of the code. Now there is some, and I think it was an interesting conversation, and I think I knew this, but Stephen, when he was in the office, Dave mentioned, the battery storage, I believe in our code right now covers the battery storage that you would see. Somebody had some panels on the roof in their house and they had some battery storage on their home. So if they lost power, their battery storage on the wall of their house would capture that downtime for a bit. I think that's what the intent of that battery storage in there. Some solar farms are trying to exploit that and now trying to say, no, we're going to put battery storage in. So either we have to redefine the wording of it or, come up with an example of it, but we're looking to do something like that. I certainly don't want to see, I know a lot of issues with battery storage fires and stuff like that. As you've seen in Orange County, I think Warwick, since they put them all on school property, there's no rules. So they're allowed to just do them, and that's why they have fires, and it was an issue. And being a member of the volunteer fire department, I don't want to see these guys have to go through that. So we're gonna do the local law amendment. It's gonna be this change. You guys will get everything once Dave's done working on that, and with the solar part of it. We'll send around everybody for examples. You got any questions?
We also talked about ancillary structures on properties.
So, true. So, and I know there was another comment come up that, talk about maybe the solar panels on, accessory structures. Garages, right now, the town doesn't allow it because we don't allow, I believe it's accessory structure. We don't allow that part of it in the code. So that's gonna be, I don't even know if that's gonna be part and parcel to this. It might be, but I know the question was, yeah.
We might as well.
Yeah, okay. So people come, people have beautiful garages. And they go through engineerings and they put the garages up and they want to put some solar panels on it, either to feed their garage or maybe part of their house. The town does not allow, it's not in the code for that. We want to regulate it because, me personally, I have a stick built, I built my own shed. Is it engineered? No. I mean, it sits on 4x4s on gravel. Is that probably, would that hold the snow load with panels on it? Maybe not. I built my own trusses. I don't know, but to cover us, we want to make some rules up for that.
Sure.
So that's going to be, so to Steve's point with that conversation, that's going to be part of that. So we will, we'll send that around for comment too. So if you guys got anything with that, or if you do have anything, just send some to Dave. We'll love to have more emails. Next thing on the agenda, so the townwide medical insurance, so a couple times in the last several weeks, it's been brought up. Matter of fact, I even had somebody from another town had ironically asked me about it too, asked if we, and this is how this came about, asked if we cover in our townwide medical insurance domestic part. I said we don't, and I didn't really kind of fully understand why we don't. I don't know, it's 2025. Some people just don't want to get married. I get it, whatever. So I said, let me check. So I checked with the comptroller. She pulled out our agreement with our insurance company. And the agreement from their insurance company was dated 2/14/2008. And looking at the agreement, it's so outdated and antiquated. It's got things in here, covering how they cover what percentages employee pays of their medical. And it needs to be edited. It needs to be updated. It shows 20 years after retirement. So it's definitely old. it's time to update, redo it. However, on here, there is a checkbox on here. And it says, the checkbox on here says back in 2008, does your agency cover domestic partner? And the answer is no. So we had never no. So I'm like, huh. So I'd asked, during our comptroller, like, what was the, what's the reason for that? I don't know. So here, there's a domestic partner, options that they come out with, the insurance companies have. Obviously, there would have to be some rules on it. I'm thinking, so by us editing this agreement, it doesn't change it for anybody unless it's contractual. It needs to be negotiated and stuff like that. It has to be asked about. I will tell you, I'll give you, for example, there's a couple employees in town, I won't say where they work, that I know of that live with their significant other, have a child with their significant other, that we already pay them for their family plan, but they cannot cover their significant other.
Well, you'll be opposed to
And
it.
so it's not an extra cost to us in that
Right.
case. Will there be one or two? I'm sure there will be.
Yeah.
But in that case or not, so I'm like, why would you not? But you gotta fit the criteria. You gotta meet the whole, it just can't be,
Mhm.
you met somebody on Thursday and you're gonna put on their, insurance on,
Yeah.
Friday. Just can't do that. So, there would be rules, but I think by editing this, which would be ultimately be a town board resolution, and I'll send this around, to make this, to 2025 worthy. I wouldn't be against checking that box. Yes, again, it doesn't cost us anything, but in future negotiations, at least we have the option whether we want to do it or not. It doesn't cost us anything up there, so I don't know if anybody feels any differently or against it, for it, or,
What's the time?
Yeah, exactly.
I just think it's, is it a budget concern? I think, so the last department head meeting, I asked all the department heads to put together some names in here to, for them to poll their employees to see who's in that particular circumstance and let us know and see what it would actually cost us for budgetary wise. So it seems like I said, the couple of people that we have now are not gonna cost us anything because we're already paying for them. So, but in the future it could happen. This one here, the one I wrote Troy Play, I had this one on here, I hopes it was gonna be done as well. This is the sale of the All Officers Club. We did have this special town board meeting to do an appraisal on basically, I'll call it a replacement parcel that we own on International Boulevard and World Trade Way at the corner there. We went out, we authorized Beckman appraisal company to do an appraisal on that particular lot, and that was gonna be, my plan is hopefully to do a land transfer, if you will, 3.5 acres to 2.9 acres and have it the same fee. We have not gotten the appraisal back yet. I've been dealing with our appraiser Todd, who's been dealing with Beckman. I guess they're having some difficulty coming up with some comps of land lease of vacant land, apparently. I don't know. I just, we have to do this as a step we have to do before we go out to either the public permission referendum or I make an agreement with First Columbia, whatever. We have to appraise the property anyway, because I don't want to shortchange us and get us in the bids, but, so I'm waiting for that appraisal. Hopefully it doesn't, I know it's a four-way deal here. You got Simone, you got Access, you got us, and you got First Columbia involved, so it's, everybody wants a little piece of the pie. I certainly do too. That's, I guess to segue into, obviously this is up in the airport and everybody saw the news today, so we got a little forward progress going in the airport, so Access taking this over, hopefully. The pharmaceutical company coming in. I will say, if anybody's on here now and they're listening and they hear this and they have any questions about the pharmaceutical company, by all means, call my office. I know there's some things going on the internet
Yeah.
that, some people get wound up about and they want to hear the truth. By all means, call me. If you want to get caught up in that other stuff, then
Yeah.
by all means, listen to that. But so that's moving forward. Hopefully that'll be done. I'm kind of hoping this week.
Hey, what's the time on?
I don't know. Good question. They're working on it. I keep getting, we're working on it. It's, easy. They, if we were trying to find comps, we're getting this. So I don't know. I hate like heck to see Access back out of the deal and Simone over this, because it's, a pretty decent, deal for, I believe, us, but we'll see with that. So that's that. The next one. So the next one, I'm gonna talk a little about the drainage districts and consolidation and blah, blah. So before I get too crazy in it, I do have John McDonald and Justin are here, obviously. And I gotta have, so what I'm gonna do to kind of make this a little a little above transparent. I'm gonna ask them to show you guys on the screen, and I believe the public can see this too, John, right, or no? But that's the plan. The plan is to have the public see this. I know we're gonna work on it. But anyway, I'll just start talking. So what you guys are seeing here, I plan on having the public see. So there's no, nobody sees what to do. So right now, there's 14 drainage districts in town. I think you guys got or 16, I'm sorry, there's 16 drainage districts. If you look at the back sheet of this packet that you got here, and I'll jump on there for a second, you'll see that. So basically, and I guess to make it simple, when they build a subdivision, I'm gonna use Meadowbrook because that's in my top of my head. They have a drainage part of that district there. When they design that and they make a drainage district, they figure out how many homes are in there. You take the Meadowbrook subdivision in here, where are we here? The number 14 here, so they're in drainage district number 14. And they decided they know how many homes they were gonna build. The total maintenance cost for the year is X. You'll see that in that next row, and that's on the back show. We're gonna show this, and then the cost per parcel is the next one to that. So if you look at 14, the cost per parcel is that. I think we all kind of agreed when we were talking this, to nail down one drainage district to do each one. One may be, one could have $100,000 in a drainage district and the other one might have 3,000. We thought it best to take these drainage districts and consolidate them and make them one. So anybody that lived in a drainage district would pay. However, these numbers, and I know there's a calculation they're gonna have to come up with, and we're still muddling through that. These numbers are gonna go away and they're gonna be a new number, and we just don't know what that is. We gotta figure that is. So with that, up on the board right now is I'm just gonna show you so we're doing this MS4 mapping right now. I know John, IT Justin's been doing a lot of it with, we got some interns helping us, and of course MHE is our main driver on here. MHE they go out and they take pictures and they show, and I want to show you guys a bunch of pictures that, if you just look up on that, if you look on the board, you look on here, if you go through the thing, you'll see these are what I'm talking about. If you look at Red Maple Way there, that's the detention pond. That looks all great in your maps. Makes it look pretty from a pop, leaf off. It looks beautiful. If you start going through that, Justin, you can go. So you're going to start seeing some of these outfall things, and it's a maintenance concern here. Believe it or not, my office has been getting inundated with phone calls with a lot of these now because of the leaves. If you look at that, if you want to hold that one there, this is a detention pond area. These are some of the banks of these. The vegetation should be removed. These trees are getting overgrown. I mean, some of these I can bring a tree company in and cut some of this stuff down.
Yeah.
They're supposed to, and as he goes through this, you'll see a couple of them what they're supposed to look like. This is another one. This is an outfall, how they come out, the trees, they're blocking the whole exit of it. And this is years and years of neglect, honestly. If you look at the pipe there on the kind of the bottom right there, on Red Maple Way, go ahead. You could now, if you just stop there for a second. So most of these detention ponds in town have a nice little fence around them that these people spend a lot of money on, and they're locked. We all have a key to them, at least they're supposed to. If not, we got the master key. And they were the goal would be to have all these maintained throughout the years. That hasn't been done. The drainage districts, if you live on Meadowbrook, if you live someplace in Meadowbrook, if you look up at your Orange County tax bill, you're gonna see that you have a charge for, it says Drainage District 14 and it says zero. So we've had the mechanism for, I don't even know how long, I couldn't tell you how to go back how long, but we've had the mechanism for years and years to charge to keep these drainage districts and these detention ponds maintained that we haven't done. And we're getting to the point where it's causing us some problems here. You can go around, you can go past that one. Yeah, keep going. So
There's no regular maintenance.
So this is Fox Hill. If you look at the top of ones, these are some, and this is the latest one that we just took dedication to. You can go to the next one there. Now, if you look, you see there's a little vegetation in there, little weeds, and you see how that's growing like there. And I'm sure some of that's probably, water eating weeds or whatever. Keep going. So that's what it should, now that should hold water there, right? If we don't do anything to that, it's going to look like the first 3 or 4 slides in 5-6 years from now. And it's going to totally go against, what's the purpose of even having it? So the goal here is to consolidate the drainage districts, and then equally charge the drainage district folks, whoever lives in these drainage districts, an equal amount of money. Which is undetermined at this point right now, and I'll come back, what we'll do is we'll come back to, and you can keep going through that, Justin, if that's, so this is another one there off of Morse Hills Road, Hannah Lane. If you can keep going there.
Who gets to clean them?
So that's another one that, so, well, so this is one of the things that I want to talk about. So when we do this, when we consolidate these drainage districts and we do come up with a fee and we charge, the goal would be Anthony's hiding over there. Which I gotta be honest with you, the highway department and buildings and grounds they're inundated with stuff. They don't not have time to do it. The goal would be to contract out. I think what we'd be looking to do, which I think would be the best option, is take every one of these in town that we have. We're gonna probably have to go out and do one initial shot, either bonded or whatever, and go out and clean them all up to where you bring them back to its most original state. And then pick up from the charges from there. We just put in a grant for, a vac truck, a smaller vac truck, but we're hopefully we get it, because this mapping, we need to do some of this stuff. So, it is it's gonna be I think the undertaking of which MHE does most of it, they're doing most of our stuff with us. I think the biggest question or the biggest blow is gonna be the cost per homeowner that's in a drainage system. There's two ways that we can charge. I was talking to our comptroller about it. We can do a tax charge, right? And put it on your taxes. Or we can do a special, district, and we can just do it in utility bills. So your water bill, so if you look on this board here, that was what I was trying to tell, and that's what the public can see. Anybody that lives in any of these, and I looked at some of these, I've been here my entire life for the last 30 years. Oh, I'm sorry, 50, almost 57. I'm like, what are some of these? I didn't know the names of some of these, like Blossom Heights and stuff like that. So number 2 is the Red Maple Way subdivision. Number 4 is Hannah Lane. Number 5 is Trotter Lane. Number 8 is Fox Hill and Wild Turkey. Number 9 is Briarwood, obviously in Swan Hollow area. Number 10 is Ashley, Finley, Ridgeview. Number 11 is Lutheran Forest and Brandywine. 12 is Pinoak. Shadowfax is not done yet. Meadowbrook is in to the works. And number 15 is Shalimar. And that's still in the making, if you will. So that's, the plan would be to take these 16, make them one. I don't know what they call them, just drainage district 1 or whatever, make them all one. And then I'm going to leave it to the experts to figure out the total cost of maintenance for all of them. Again, I think the goal would probably to bond, pay for all of them one shot, and then use this money to maintain it. And then hopefully at that point, I would really like to see, so if you look at a home in Meadowbrook, for instance, it's $408 a year for them to pay to keep their drainage, which is not, that's a shot. If you look up, forget about that, number 12, that's almost $1,300. And these were things that were done long. If you look at the date, and I just want for everybody on the internet here, this is 99, 2000, 2001. These are all things that were all figured out way back then. I'm sure some of these costs are, probably much higher now to maintain them. But that's where we're at right now with this. Again, I wanted I want you folks to know that the goal is to first consolidate. Once we consolidate, we need to come up with a plan as far as cleaning them all up. Once they're all cleaned up, maintaining them, and maintaining them would be through a drainage district fee to all those folks that are in a drainage district. Then it would be, how do we charge? Is it on your tax bill, or is it a utility billing thing? I know the comptroller's, her thought, she felt would have been the best way is through utility billing, said it's easier. I think I shared this with everybody, the pros and cons too. If not, I'll send it to you if I didn't. With the utility billing. Did you see that or not?
I remember.
You guys can say I didn't. I'll take. So there's and I don't think you have that. You won't have that. So the utility billing would be a way, or a tax levy for a special district. So, again, this is we're a few months away, but this is all part of this. I think ultimately part of this MS4 mapping and to get everybody on, everybody back up to snuff here.
Yeah, I think so, right?
What's that?
If you're like, I'm at a bit.
Oh, yeah, no, this definitely would have to go to,
I think
we can't.
hit a certain amount of money, then you have to get it up.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, there, I gotta tell you, just one of these drainage districts is probably well over the bidding mark already. So to do all of them, I'm gonna assume we're gonna talk hundreds of thousands of dollars. We're not, I'm not gonna find
Oh,
out.
the cameras,
We're gonna do-
like 20,000.
I'm not gonna find, no, initial. Initial. Yeah, I say initial, and then after that, listen, what I like to see, somehow it being done in-house, but you're gonna need 4, 5, 6 guys.
If I could do it on overtime, that would be equal to or lesser than.
Well, probably.
You're gonna need some equipment too. I mean, it's like.
Well, equipment,
Stuff.
some of the stuff is, it's banked, it's, it could be dangerous, you know what I mean? I'd rather,
Oh, you mentioned tree service, it might, again, it might come to that.
Like,
Yeah.
You need more manpower.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. And, this is for me, I would say this is probably more of a fall, winter thing because it's, leaf off, you're not dealing with stuff, you could see it. But now you have snow and you got other stuff that these guys are doing, so, it's either a yearly contract thing or, 4, 5, 6 people you're hiring. I would say the contract thing is probably far cheaper, especially if we're paying for it with
Well, you
through
see
a district.
These land clearing companies come in with those machines that cut the tree.
Yeah.
Kind of get rid of everything.
Some of them don't even have to get out. Yeah, it's not, see, he knows the acronyms here for it. So some of them are, we're gonna muddle through that. I think first we're gonna consolidate. Once we consolidate them, and then nobody's getting charged. Nobody has ever been charged with them. I thought it was as simple as, okay, let's charge everybody $10. I don't want to beat everybody up, But the way it's written on that last page that was on there, everybody has an assigned number per house.
So they have it
They
in
have-
deeds or what?
So I believe so. It's
Yeah.
their calculation. If you, like I said, you go on, I bring up a house on Meadowbrook Estates right now, and it says on the bottom drainage district 14, and but it says 0. We don't charge.
I'm just curious to when they get it, they go, well, wait a minute, they go, well, here's the deed, here's the house you bought, and here's what's in it.
Yeah, no,
Back to paper.
they're all part of that. No, and I think it's gonna be, it'll be a surprise,
Like litigation.
surprise hit, but, we're getting, it's part of, a lot of these people who bought the house after the subdivision built, there's some people that are living in subdivisions that are still being built that know that this is coming.
I have a question.
There,
We had some pretty substantial rain this year. Did anything happen where it was like, oh boy, if that was clear, we wouldn't have.
no, but I think, not, a lot of these things are not draining the way they should be.
No, I
because
agree with
of
that. I'm just saying, if something was overflowing, you'd say, well, why
Like,
wasn't?
oh, it was cleaned up better.
Yeah, I haven't really got any phone calls, honestly, that there's been, some catastrophes on it. The only one I know that's been a real kind of a thorn in the pain in the neck is the water that leaks into Arkell's back parking lot and it comes off of the condos there
Is it one of these?
by them. No.
No.
But now we're doing all this now. When we do subdivision stuff, we're doing all this bonding for all this stuff and we're making sure maintenance is in place and that's in the place. So we're doing it now,
So
we
moving
just.
forward, there's a plan that
So
we are.
moving forward is a plan to make this.
Yeah, that's always the question, like when they leave this thing up to, there's no HOA, there's nothing that's gonna handle these, these are just open for the
They're-
town to
they're-
figure out.
And I have a woman off of the back end of Independence that goes into the Meadowbrook Estates, and there's a corner line. She's got a good point. There's a corner line. I was there the other day again. It's a pretty big detention pond for that area. And it's literally got
Yeah,
trees growing over to her, her property, and she's been mowing part of what she thought was her responsibility, and it's really not. It's ours. 'Cause
But it helps keep
we-
it back if she does.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't, and that's what frustrates me. And a lot of these people, they come in, they buy these beautiful homes, but with these little ponds, all their catch basins and all their water's
Yeah.
draining into, needs to be maintained. And once they, we take dedication to it, now it's my problem, if you will.
yeah.
And by me going in there and sending a crew in there to clean them all up right now, there's a 0 on your bill.
So,
I'm not, and they should have been charged all along, and we haven't done it. It's never been.
Well, yeah.
so like Patriots Ridge, isn't that the condos, wouldn't there be, that the HOA would be doing that one or no?
No, they don't, because they approve a drainage district.
Oh,
when
So
they-
it's over,
Yeah, when they do it, yes.
that's actually down at the bottom of the hill over there?
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, so it's, so you're gonna probably see a little more of that, the consolidation.
26 item.
Yeah, before we get to you know, we're gonna consolidate and then I'll come back and we'll throw out some numbers and, you know, see what we,
And then whether it's
You know,
a tax or utility.
exactly, how we're gonna charge it
Yeah.
and in what sense and maybe get some input. I'm sure
Yeah.
some people are gonna be on here, you know, want to know if they're in it. What's that?
Yeah.
We would have to, if we went out to bid, it would be like, hey, listen, this is what we're gonna do to clean these up. And you know, again, I don't, you know, I understand some people's frustration too. They gotta live around this stuff and it does look god awful.
Yeah.
So,
Well, once you get it done once, it'll be easier to maintain.
yeah, exactly.
You got it.
So that's that with that. If you guys have any questions when you take a peek at that, look at that whole package there, let me know and we'll go through and we'll do it. So I put this on here because I know I was talking to, our town historian, Glenn Marshall. Glenn has some renewed interest back in the last encampment now that the Temple Association is no longer involved in it. As we all can see, we, you know, cleaned it up and it looks much better than it has in the past 30 years. So Glenn had approached, and I've talked to him a couple times, but Glenn approached Chris Ekis, someone in Ekis, to ask him if there's any way that he can help us out with funding for doing some work down there. So Ekis had said, yeah, I definitely can help you, especially on something like this. It's a good project. Get some prices. I think all you folks that saw my email to him, I sent to him. I put together an email for Chris. We came up with some pricing. I quite honestly, I didn't know how much flagpoles were, but apparently they're not cheap. I came up with the pricing, for the flagpoles, the roof replacements for the 2 historic huts down there and some other little renovations down there, as well as doing, some signage and the, maybe reopening them bathrooms down there. We gotta put a little work into there. I'm kind of hoping to get recruit some scouts or something to go down there and do. There's a couple of good Eagle Scout projects down here that can be, I know there's a kid now working on an Eagle Scout project with Glenn down there for the new kiosk down there for, at the last encampment. So I sent Chris, Ekis email on this. We have a walkthrough August 20th with his office at 3:00 down there. So if any of you folks deal with Chris much, and
Yeah.
you want to keep poking at him, please do.
Sorry, August.
He owes us. August 20th at 3:00 is, when we're gonna meet down there to go with Glenn and walk through really the needs and wants of some stuff we have down there. As you saw, you know, this stuff is not cheap. For the flagpoles and, you know, I sent them the workup and you guys got, hopefully we can land some of his, money. Get this done.
What about the stuff that was inside? What about the historical stuff inside the buildings? Were we able to protect them? I know there
So-
was like some,
So the
Discussion, I
huts itself have a couple things in there that are, you know, they're not in bad shape. The roofs on them are, I guess they're designed to do that. When it's dry out, they open up a little and it rains, close out. It's crazy to me, but the huts are not too bad. There's some workmanship that needs done around the office, we'll call it down there, which was the Temple Hill Association's office. They had gone down there a couple of months ago and cleaned out the stuff they need, but there's a whole ton of stuff in there that Glenn wants to go in there, go through the office. The building really needs to come down. It's in poor shape. But there are some, you know, I said to Glenn, I kind of like to do this because, to be quite honest with you, I'm not the craziest history buff. I mean, I enjoy it, but I'm not, you know, this is in town and I think this is very important here. And I say, you know, the Temple Association, they left. They really haven't been here for 25, 30 years, but they left. And, you know, when Glenn goes or moves out or is not around anymore, the history is just gonna go with it, honestly, because there's, you know, Glenn's passionate about it and he really gets into it and he kind of gets me all wound up. So he's got me down there banging nails and fixing flagpoles and everything else. So, which is a good thing. So I want to just keep that momentum going so we can put some, you know, hopefully some state money into this and we can get it back to, you know, plans of putting all new 13 flagpoles up for the colonies. And again, they're not cheap. There's a lot of work got to be done on those roofs and those huts. So I'm sure we can get some volunteer, help down there to get that going and, get them going. So I'm going after that. So if you guys do talk to him, Chris, tell him you promised us and keep going with him because trying to get him to go with it. So.
Yeah.
we'll see them tomorrow, right?
Yeah. did you guys get the budget sheet?
Yeah.
Okay. So, so I just wanted to just throw this out there to get this conversation going amongst you folks and we can go from there. As you can see, Doreen our comptroller has put together some numbers that, kind of hopefully you folks can look at and absorb and figure out. These are, preliminary numbers for the tax cap use of revenues and stuff. I know there's a couple things in the legislature now that are trying in the state, they're trying to use the ambulance. They're gonna try to take the ambulance out of our tax levy where they don't have to hit that, which is really, it's gonna help us a little, but not a whole much. I don't think we actually really found out whether we were gonna get a true 2%. Is a true 2% tax cap or not, but we're still trying to figure all that out. But if you look on page 2, which I think is the telling part, there's 6 scenarios there. And the scenarios, if you just kind of look at the general and the highway fund, the general fund, scenario 1 is with no reserves, and if you go all the way up to scenario 6, which is the use of 4.5 million reserves, and just that. And you'll see down at the use of reserves column what it would cost your estimated tax home bill. If you see Doreen has right now scenario 3 highlight. Scenario 3 would be the use of 1.5 million reserves in the general fund, $300,000 in the highway fund, and then so on and so forth. It would be the estimate cost of that per home there, which is and these are all estimated numbers. They're not, and that's 330,000, and that's that. Or I'm sorry, $330. Everybody else $330,000, $330, and you look at that's the 3.4 over the tax cap. What was that, John?
No, I was just looking at, because I'm looking at the column for what we had budgeted for 25. And then the actual use,
Yes.
yeah.
So 25.
Which is encouraging. So
Yeah,
then-
no. So
so
but
then we're
we've had
looking
some
here,
sales of some stuff.
right,
There are some stuff that are gonna get some sales. We've, with the numbers we've come up with, with our permit fees and stuff.
no, it's good,
I got filming coming now. We're charging them money.
yeah.
We're getting money all over the place here, which is good. I want to keep that coming, but we got to keep chasing these folks for this, but still, it's happening. But I just want to give you guys a heads up that this is, these are the funds that we're dealing with. I will tell you, I guess to kind of jump into this, you look at some of these funds here, which are, you look at the reserves, the 2025 beginning reserves, and I'm not saying that this is gonna be huge, but we had today we had a pretty catastrophic failure at Butterhill Wells. We had a power outage and water hammer in there and it blew apart all the pipes in the basements of the wells and upstairs. So it's, we're gonna put it in for insurance, but the wells are shut down for like a month at least.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we're not on them. They're shut down because of the failure. Certainly we're gonna put it in for insurance. We're gonna try, but Central Hudson had a silly bird, I guess, flew into something that caused the power to go spike at 6:35. And then some other things happened at 8, and then there was a failure down there at the wells.
So it was due to.
A power, yeah, it was due to a power surge, yeah. We have one of our wells is off site, so that runs and sends water to, which is well 2 is over in Butterhill. And that sends it to the plant, and at the same time as the plant, I have it on video here, we can show you that.
So we have no water
expert-
coming out of the wells. What about our acquisitions? What about our sales?
So we're Riley Road, they're amping up they're gonna try to max Riley Road out. They're gonna, in the event that we're getting close for sales, we're gonna open a 10 Newburgh interconnect. The 10 Newburgh interconnect will, with our sales, water sales is certainly gonna cover that for us, so it'd be, just be less income with us, but, they're the things that are, hitting us that, obviously unexpected stuff that if
Exactly.
we lose the
What
revenue
your
on that,
reserves-
yeah, if we lose the revenue, so the more you dip in the reserves, you wanna have, Doreen rather have reserves cover our entire year of our budget, which is, almost impossible, but,
As well as our big projects that, we need to improve and so forth, so.
listen, there's a lot, we got a sewer plant where tomorrow we're opening our bids tomorrow. That's kind of, there's no way I'm gonna sleep tonight, but we'll figure it out. But we're gonna open our bids tomorrow. Hopefully they're gonna come in. I'm optimistic that they're coming in under what everybody thinks. So, I hope. But we got that, we're going down this rabbit hole with the, water plant out there to hopefully, kind of let the wells be, if you will. And have a new water plant that can sustain our water system, and our backup would be Riley Road, hopefully, but, so they're all costs, drainage districts, everything. And trust me, nobody wants to raise the taxes. We want to keep them flat, I know last year there was more than, I believe, half of the town, cities, and villages in Orange County exceeded the tax
Yeah.
cap. We didn't.
I think it was more than that.
Yeah, it was definitely more than that. We didn't, we sustained it with use of reserve so far, and we're doing well, but, and no pun intended, but what they're, and things like this don't help. I mean, especially if insurance doesn't cover it. We're hoping they will, but who knows? But yeah, just, keep this in mind that these are gonna be ongoing, discussions, in reference to, where we're headed for next year. It's never easy. I think that's probably one of the hardest parts that we have, because we're all taxpayers too. Nobody wants to do that to yourself, right? And certainly don't want to do it to folks that there's a lot of seniors and everything else. So, we're gonna do our damnedest to keep it where we need to keep it, but, so these are here. If you guys have, Doreen's certainly the town of New Windsor graph queen. So if you want to, anybody wants to talk to her or ask her something, by all means, I know Sylvia talks to her often, which is good. I like to see everybody engage with it, ask her questions, see what we can do, what you feel. And then we'll be getting close to a budget time, but I think just about, I'd be lying if I said I asked her today, but I think just about everybody has their budget requests in, close to, except John, right, John? Yeah, John. But close, everybody, yeah, we're getting there. IT's a bigger one too. That's IT's, he doesn't have to budget for himself, he's got to budget for the other 30 people we do, so just keep that in mind there. The next item up here is the townwide general liability insurance, so, Marshall Sterling's on here listening. So we, obviously Marshall Sterling's our agent now. I know for the past, for how many years, I'm sure forever and ever, that we, like some other things around here, whether it be the phone system, whatever, we just hit renew, and nobody really tasked them. So I had talked to the comptroller, and I know the law office, which deals with them a lot, and they have no part in what, this part, if you will. I said, why, how does this work? Because I really don't know the insurance industry that much, how we go out and, can I just go out and ask for another quote? How does it work, But it's kind of complicated how you gotta, when you talk. So, I had the Reese group in here. They came in and spoke to us. They spoke to Doreen and myself. We talked. They kind of enlightened me a little on how this whole insurance thing works. And then we had Gallagher in here, which is another insurance. If anybody was at the AOT meeting, they heard Gallagher, the town of Goshen went to them. I think the county went to them for their, there's a lot of back and forth with them. They went to them too. They saved them a lot of money. I did hear a town that went to them that had Marshall and Sterling. And then when that town did, which, we're going to discuss maybe now, gave a letter to another insurance broker with the intent of using them for moving forward, Marshall and Sterling probably responded back to them and said, hey, well, if we knew this, we would have shopped for you. Well, why weren't you doing it all along, So, and I've seen in my fire department some back and forth on insurance stuff. And again, I guess it's practical. And, we spend, nearly just on general liability, not workers' comp, but all the other insurances between drone and, cyber and everything. We're, probably almost $900,000 a year. So it's a lot of money. Do I think it's more than we have to? Yeah, maybe. And I think, how do you know? What, do you just keep hitting renew, or do you go out in the market and you try to do the market? So Reese Group was coming here, and so did Gallagher. I will tell you, I liked the meeting I had with Gallagher, so did Doreen. And it's of my opinion, and this is what I would suggest, and you folks figure out what you're gonna do, that we go out to the market and see what we can do to make ourselves better. Now, I think it's I guess how it works, it's kind of a gamble. And now they'll certainly put on a demo for you guys. I can get anybody to do it. I know what happens is before any one of these insurance brokers, before they go out and bust their hump for you, they want a letter from us saying, listen, you're choosing us and you're the guy, we're the guy you're going to, and now we're gonna go work for you. I get it. because they don't want to put a lot of work out, so they want to pick three people, and then who goes out and talks to somebody else, and what other insurance, it's crazy to me, so, I mean, I don't know what, what your guys' thoughts, I know next week or the week after next, Monday, the 18th, I could have a demo for, I know who's around, who's not around, maybe I can do something on, if we have a special board meeting to award the bid for the sewer, maybe we can talk about it then, I can have one or two of these folks go on there and put on a quick little show for us to see, get your feeling and what you think. I will tell you that too, we know the county, and we know another town in Orange County who has, had Marshall Sterling, one of them, and they went out and they got it $150,000 cheaper just by going on the market. And listen, if I can pinch pennies here and I can get, you saw the budget thing, right?
Saying every dollar.
Every dollar, whether it be the phone, 30,000 here, 150,000 there. I think it's worth that. I'm just not all about just keeping it, hit renew and renew without going up to the market and saying, listen, where are we at here? Let's do this. Listen, it's gonna make some people unhappy and maybe, but that's my job, because I'd be doing the taxpayers a disservice if I don't do it.
Amen.
So I think it's a good idea that we do this, but at some point it's gonna need to be a town board motion that we do authorize the broker, right, Dave? I heard that right? Is that we have to do a letter, right, to authorize them to just resolution for them to, to us change brokers, if you will. So, think about it. We can discuss it more. I know we have, like I said, if we do something at the special town board meeting, if we do it, I can send it out there. You folks can take a look at some of the, stuff that both of these folks have here. I have folders from both Gallagher and Reese that you guys can look at and kind of get an idea what, I have notes on both of them that I took that, from my meetings with them. And I think it's just my opinion. It's time to save some money that way. So I have that for you guys. If you need anything, let me know. Just a couple things before I close this. So I did have, and I forgot to, I was not that I was gonna put on here, but I met with, after a couple of phone conversations, I met with one of the, I don't know, vice presidents or attorneys guys for Zamora Entertainment for the rodeo in Newburgh. Maybe knows there's been 2 rodeos since, and I've not had one phone call, not one police call. I had a very good meeting with them. They came in here, we talked in reference to the town's concerns. I kind of gave them a few ideas. Met with the deputy police chief in here too with them. We exchanged some, things that we felt were concerned on both sides. They definitely said, oh, we'll make it right. I think they understood. And there's been 2 rodeos. I've actually called the people that have always calling me about the rodeo noise, call them. I'm like, all right, now I'm bothering you. Anything? They're like, no, we don't hear it. So it seems like maybe they did it. So we ended up, I don't know, John, are they done with you?
Yeah, they're all done.
So they're done. They came to court after their thing and they settled that. So it seems like it was, all along that's what needed to happen. We needed to get them in here somehow, which they did come in and they were very good with us. I appreciate them coming in and hopefully that's done with, that was good. We're just about cresting 100 hometown hero banners. So we're doing good. Jess Marina, oh my gosh, one of these days I'm gonna get a knife plunged in me. She's been going crazy with these telephone pole things with it's a lot of work and the state is changing requirements and it's just, I feel bad. I do. For like 5 minutes, I feel bad. Then it goes away.
Let me ask you for something
Yeah,
else.
then I ask her for something else and she wants to kill me again. But so we're doing good with that. I know there's a few more. We are gonna have a nice little, like kind of hometown hero honor of all the people that have banners now at Community Day. So
Awesome.
there's gonna be a booth with all of the,
Is there any way to get all that information online so that we know who's I know it's a yearly thing, right?
so,
Like, is there like a
Who has them?
file? Yeah, like all the names online.
so once this Community Day happens, Patrick's putting that all together, we're gonna put it on the recreation tab. So
Okay.
everybody will be able to go through and see. It's a lot of work. Patrick, I know, is doing this kind of trying to do this banner, this 3-way banner of signs. Our plan is to have, I believe, everybody's picture, a smaller picture of it, obviously, that size of sign, all displayed during Community Day to kind of honor those who have done it.
Right.
So that's been a work in progress. That's good. And Katrina's done all the work on it. She's done, and I've heard nothing but great things for her, so I really appreciate her down there. That you guys gonna see, we're just, did they do anything more? You sent them that filming permit? They're supposed to be filming some movie up on, the airport for a few days in August, end August. They're gonna be using some of our property up by the buildings and grounds. Anthony, I'm gonna forward you the file, just so you can kind of put eyes on it. They're gonna be, you got the buildings and grounds on the right-hand side, just beyond that buildings and grounds building. They're gonna be using the entrance to the gate that goes up on a terminal. I'd probably be lying if we didn't think that they may do something with a truck or two. I know they're gonna put some on our buildings and grounds property. I just wanna make sure your side's open, just so you can see. It's all, I'll give you the dates. I think it's August. It's probably from the 18th to the 28th, if you will. Those 10 days, they're gonna be there either filming and stuff at some cop movie or something like that. They're using the Port Authority buildings over on the other side of the airport too, so just so you know, they're gonna be, I told them to stay out of your side over there. They're gonna be using the buildings and ground side, so. If you do see them, they'll be over there. That's it, the Butterhill Wells things, and and one more thing, there is another thing I was telling you, we're having some headaches with the, right now, our new sewer plant, once we award it and build it, we're not gonna hopefully have this issue with the sludge that we haul out, that has to go to another state, and we have to pay a lot of money. The company that we haul to in Connecticut, their equipment broke down, so they've been broken down for the last couple of weeks, and they're gonna be broken down for like another month, so there's more cost now that we're gonna have to pay to either put it on a train or it's just insane, so it's gonna be, they're gonna beat us up with that.
Timeline on
And so they're saying it could be 2 weeks, it could be a month, they don't know. It's again, one of those things that nobody can predict, and
Do it in-house on the new one.
yeah, so the new one is more or less, it's gonna be Phil, and we don't have to worry about it, hopefully, if they don't change that
Yep.
standards and everything, but that's, all that stuff.
That's that.
A timeline on the engineer's report of the bridge.
I have to check with the county, I have not checked on them, I see.
It should be over.
Yeah, I would imagine. I mean, I know, my best guess, I'm gonna tell you right now, there's, I think when the engineer's done, they're gonna have to either rebuild or repair that part of their bridge, so. You're not gonna, I personally don't think you're gonna see it open. Yeah, I think it's gonna be reported that. And you know
No
how,
way, it's not gonna be, it's gonna be a bad report no matter what.
you know how,
They could say small cars or something.
yeah, I was kind of hoping, but like, who wants to take that liability on? Like, yeah, you can put a small car, but God forbid something happens to it, they're gonna be like, oh, you said we couldn't go there, so. And that's why
who's
that
gonna
night.
monitor what car?
That night I was there for the fire, they couldn't find me, I'm like, shut it down, nobody can go over here, I'm not gonna, the town's not gonna take that responsibility, it's not our bridge, But the county has kind of jumped in there, it is definitely has a state placard on it, it's state DEC property you're going into, I know we have a park there, the county has a park there, the state has this, CSX won't allow this, does this. It's gonna be a chore, I mean, look how long Lake Road took to, work over top of that tracks, it's just, it's a challenge, it's gonna be a challenge, it stinks, but. Trust me, I wish if I could do it, I would do it differently, but I can't. So to me, I'd be just open the gates and go ahead, you got it, but we can't do that. So,
You just said you didn't take the responsibility.
well, I gotta be, I was there for the fire, I see the one leg, this thing's built out of timbers that are, God, the size of this table here. They're pretty good, and one's been probably rotted for 20 years, probably, they just found it because it was a fire there, they say they keep inspecting it, but. My guess is the inspections, to drive over and said, yeah, I got over, it looks good, we're past,
Yeah.
but this thing didn't rot like that overnight, and that's been like that for
Yes.
a little bit, so. And I think the fire was definitely superficial, a lot of it, not really deep
It's not
seated.
structural.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be okay, but again, it's not my bridge, so I can't make that call. So Steve's wants to make a motion here.
I make a motion to move into executive session so that we can further discuss the prospect of a civil servant employee who is currently employed as a full-time dispatcher with another municipality, transferring to town of Windsor in the same or similar capacity, and to discuss litigation concerning Stewart Hill Industrial Park and PFAS matter. Motion.
And I'll second that.
Cool,
Thank you.
thank you, that was well said.
I did it.
Well, that was well said. Anthony, can you hang on a minute, because I want to go over a couple of things. How about